Hello and welcome to another video, and today is a video in 2020 I didn't think I would be making. If there's something that has taught us a lesson in 2020 is that prepare for the unexpected, and this whole year's been such a shit show with a lot of things, but this was truly an unexpected event, and it's really quite staggering and honestly almost industry defining in terms of a moment for video gaming as a whole. And so today I want to talk about, of course, Bethesda being purchased by Microsoft. Honestly, before this happened, I don't think anybody had even anticipated this deal to be going down. It was quite a shock to wake up on Monday morning this week and look at the news article of, hey, Microsoft just bought Bethesda. And for $7.5 billion. And just to give you kind of an idea of how much money that actually is, that's almost double what Disney paid for Star Wars way back when. Like, this is some serious money. From my understanding, this is the largest acquisition in video gaming history. It is a huge monumental deal. It paints an interesting picture for Microsoft because this is an insane power play on their part. And obviously it was purposely timed for a day before pre-orders went live for the new systems, and it makes perfect sense. Everything just kind of fit like a glove when it was announced. So I kind of want to go over today what to expect with this news. Obviously we don't know everything, we don't know all the bits and pieces, but I've seen a lot of scuttlebutt out there. You know, some of the internet thinks that, oh, Bethesda, everything's going to be exclusive to Xbox. Some of the internet doesn't think so. I kind of wanted just to give my insight to what I think going forward is going to happen with Bethesda now that they are kind of married to Microsoft. To really understand how this deal even went down, you have to look at the long history that Microsoft has had with Bethesda. You know, Bethesda has been a supporter of the Xbox console since the original system when they released Morrowind for the system way back in 2002. They've kind of always been there, and they've kind of always been one of those big partners with Microsoft. You can remember back to even many different E3s. Anytime Todd Howard shows up, he's always on Microsoft stage. And it just goes to show how long they've kind of already had this ongoing partnership. So it honestly makes perfect sense that of any of these big companies Microsoft could kind of swoop up and put under their umbrella, Bethesda makes the most sense right now. Another thing to note here is that by buying Bethesda, Microsoft has access to a plethora of different studios, including Arcane Studios. So the people that are actively making a PlayStation 5 console exclusive game with Deathloop, Microsoft now owns that. Also, Ghostwire Tokyo, the new game from Tango Gameworks, which is another studio under Bethesda, Microsoft now owns that. So you have two big PS5 console exclusive titles that, from my understanding now, are timed exclusives and will still come to the Xbox, but Phil Spencer has already said, hey, we're going to honor those timed exclusivity. Another thing that's been asked is, going forward, what's going to happen with different games? And he's kind of come out and said, we're going to judge it by a game as a case-by-case basis. So what that means, and honestly, I think it's, you know, when you're handed the keys to something as big as Bethesda, you're not going to immediately make a decision to, oh, all of a sudden Elder Scrolls 6, you know, that's only on Xbox and PC. You're not going to make that decision day one. And for me personally, looking through it, looking at what makes sense and what doesn't, locking up a huge title like Elder Scrolls 6 or whatever the next Fallout is to Xbox only, or the Xbox ecosystem, so PC as well, really just doesn't make a lot of sense for Microsoft. Because when you look at, you know, last generation, there's over, 130 million PS4s out there. I'm sure this generation, the PS5 is going to have a huge install base as well. Why give up all the money you could make there to make it, you know, console exclusive? Yes, in the end, you're going to sell more boxes, but what makes more sense to Microsoft in 2020? Console sales or software sales? It's software sales. So I don't see them sitting down and going, okay, this game is, you know, exclusive, that game's exclusive, or anything like that. However, there is an exception to this, and I think that exception is Starfield. The, you know, announced, nothing's been shown of the game yet. I really do think that Starfield is the one exception here where they're going to lock that new IP down as a Xbox console exclusive. So it'll still come to PC. Obviously, Microsoft's also been putting out their first-party games on Steam, so you're still going to have access to it there, but I would not be shocked if you do not see Starfield on PS5, because I think they're going to lock that up. And if I was Microsoft, I would take a new IP like that and do that with it. One of the other huge and fantastic benefits of Microsoft buying Bethesda is now that they're under the Microsoft umbrella and they have all these studios, they have this kind of portfolio of games already, all these games are getting added to Game Pass. So not only is Microsoft gaining all of these studios and all of these games through Bethesda's purchase, they're also adding more value on top of the immense value that Xbox Game Pass has. They've already pretty much announced that Doom Eternal is going to be added to Game Pass very, very shortly. So I would imagine within the next week here. And let's be honest, Doom Eternal still for me is one of the best games I played in 2020. And if you haven't played it yet, Game Pass is a great way to experience that game. And you know, you think about all the other, just in Bethesda alone, think about the you know, IPs that they own: Wolfenstein, Doom, Quake. You know, like those right there are huge. And then you have the RPGs, you have Fallout, you have, you know, Elder Scrolls. You have all this huge stuff. And if we're looking at everything as a grand scope here, and you kind of look at everything, you know, with a magnifying glass, look at this past generation for Bethesda. It was kind of a shit show. You know, Elder Scrolls Online stumbled out of the gate. I believe, from my understanding, that game's in a pretty solid place right now. But you also have the devastating bad product that is Fallout 76. And yes, while there are users there that enjoy the game and whatnot, that game got nothing but bad press. And still, from my understanding, it's still not where it needs to be today. So I think by having Microsoft as not only your partner, but owner, they're going to really help Bethesda kind of hone things in for the next generation. And I see this all as a good thing. And I know a lot of people out there, especially people that are watching this video that are PlayStation fans and not Xbox fans, are going to be disappointed with this viewpoint because they want to see games on their PlayStation. You know, I'm somebody who doesn't have a console bias. I like everything. But I think if you look at the bigger picture here, I think with Microsoft being the partner for Bethesda, it just means a more, you know, broader scope for them to kind of hone in all of these different things. And I think in the end, when you add the value to this to Game Pass, which again continues to only grow and grow and grow, you know, I think that all of this is just good news. I don't really see anything here being bad news. And again, I really don't see something like Elder Scrolls 6 or Fallout 5 being a Xbox console exclusive. I still see that coming to everything. Starfield's the one exception, and I think any other new IPs that you don't know about yet, I could see them totally locking that up. But even take that out of the equation, the fact that Microsoft can go, hey, guess what? Day one, you can play Elder Scrolls 6 on Game Pass. Pay us, you know, $10 a month, or $15 if you want the PC version as well. And you can play it. You don't have to pay $60 day one to play that game, or $70 as it's going to be now for next-gen games. That argument is huge. And it's a huge selling point, not only for an Xbox console, but for Game Pass as a service as a whole. So, well, $7.5 billion is an insane amount of money to spend on a company. This is a huge win for Microsoft. And like their acquisition of Minecraft a couple of years ago, I feel like this is only a license for Microsoft to print more money going forward. So, all in all, I think it's really excellent news. I was actually really happy to see it. And I think it's kind of going to save Bethesda in the long run. So let me know in the comments below, what do you think of Microsoft's acquisition of Bethesda? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? I'd love to hear your comment. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, until next time.